Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Today I am going to share with you the 4 cards that are part of my simple card class this month. And if you spend at least $40 before tax and shipping in my online store now through Monday using the host code I have posted right here, I will send you the card kit to make these 4 cards in the mail. So that's kind of fun. We are going to start with this card, and it uses the Rings of Love Designer Series paper that I have been featuring this week, along with the Ringed with Nature bundle that coordinates perfectly with the paper. A lot of times for my simple card class, I will leave the design work to other demonstrators, and I find card designs that I like and I copy them. So that's what I did with this one. This one I copied from demonstrator Rhonda Wade, and the only thing I changed about it, I think, was the embellishment that she used, because I just didn't have enough of the one she used to use it for my card class. So I'm going to show you how to make this one, and it's going to be a surprise what the other cards are. But this one I wanted to do for sure because it uses that paper we've been featuring. So we're going to start with a thick, very vanilla card base. We're using vanilla because the vanilla is in the Designer Series paper. And then I have a piece of soft suede, and this is embossed with a really neat embossing folder. I'm not going to remember the name. It comes with, I think it's, let's see. Well, it comes with the Tree Rings dies, part of this bundle. And this is one of our hybrid embossing folders. So I have to be honest, I have not tried this out yet. And I have actually not tried any of our hybrid embossing folders. But I need to change that one day soon. So I'm pulling out this big die, and let me just show you what it does. So this embossing folder will create the embossed tree rings, but you can put this die in here, and it must fit. Let's see. We have to figure out how to do this because I have not used it before. All right, how's this work? This way? This way, there we go. So this fits in here, and you can actually run it through your die cutting machine at the same time. So you can emboss and cut your paper together, and I think that is just really cool. Like I said, I have not tried any of them yet, but I need to change that because this is the first one that I bought, and it's really awesome. Let me see. I don't have my entire Ringed with Nature stamp set in here. So that was part of the dies and the embossing folder. That's part of the bundle that coordinates with this paper. And we are going to be using the stamp set on this card today. But let me adhere this first. If you do place an order to get this card kit, you will get all of these pieces cut and ready for you. And then you do your own stamping. Use your own ink and adhesives, and I try to keep it pretty simple for the most part. Like this one is just a sentiment, so you can substitute any sentiment that you have. Alright, so we have our piece of the Rings of Love paper. This is a really nice piece for fall. There's also some great kind of wintry ones, and a piece of So Saffron. So I'm going to adhere this one to the So Saffron. And if you do get the card kit, I also send a tutorial with measurements. So if you want to make more, you can. I don't have the measurements in front of me. Otherwise, I would share them with you. You know, in a perfect world, I would have created, a couple of cards using this paper, since that's what we're featuring this week. But in real life, I didn't have time to design anything extra, and I was behind on designing for my card class, which is Saturday, the in-person version. So I decided to do it for you, and that'll work out too, because you get to see a lot of Celebration products in use, not just the paper. Okay, then I have these evening evergreen leaves. These are cut with the same die set, and I am just going to grab my mini glue dots and lay them down on here. You could also use glue if you want. Some of you know how I feel about the glue though, and I don't want it all over my fingers, so right there. And then this is cut out with the same die set too, You can cut out the tree rings just like this, and I think there's a stamp that fits in there too, probably. I didn't bring the stamp set in here. We are going to use one of the sentiments from the stamp set, Thinking of You, and our Poppy Parade ink, which is the red that's found in the paper. And let me put my foam mat underneath so we hopefully get a nice clean image. Let's see, I'm going to turn it this way. There we go. Okay, then we'll attach this to the card with a few more dimensionals. Right over those leaves. And then we're going to finish it off with a little bit of linen thread and some of our brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. Say that 5 times fast, right? Okay, so I'm just tying a bow with my linen thread. Trim that up. And I love these mini glue dots for attaching the little bows. They work perfectly. Add that on there. And then let's get our metallic dots. I used the gold ones on my first card. I think I'm going to use these like brushed nickel ones this time. I think they'll both look nice. The metallics look nice with this paper, I think. Let's add a few of these on. Like that. And there is the first card. Quick, easy, simple, and so pretty with that paper, right? Okay, let's move that one out of the way. And you know my favorite celebration product. Well, maybe you don't, but I'm going to tell you. It's these hippos. They are so cute. So this card uses the Hippest Hippo stamp set and the hippo dies. And this card, I got the idea from Stampin' Up! Sends demonstrators a weekly email, and there's usually a picture of a project at the top that you can copy. And so that's where I got the idea from this one. I didn't copy it exactly, but I kind of used the layout because I didn't have enough paper in those colors. I was so behind this month. I had to use things I had on hand. That's just how it went. So we are using a Calypso Coral card base. And then this next piece is basic white embossed with our, I think it's called the honeycomb embossing folder. Or something like that. Maybe it's the hive embossing folder. I don't know. We've had something similar and I don't remember what the exact name of this one is. Okay, so that is like our background. And then this designer series paper I used on this one is our Butterfly Kisses designer series paper, which is one of my other favorites. So we have 2 strips of that. And you know what? I wonder, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll use the other side this time. It's kind of fun to flip them around and see how that looks. I love it when the people in my card class do that too. Kind of change up what I did a little bit and give it their own spin. Okay, so there's that. And then this card has a lot of my favorite things. This is a punch called the Decorative Circle Punch. And this has got to be probably my favorite new punch in our catalog. I think it's a lot of fun. So lots of my favorite things on this card. Highly recommend this punch. I'm going to put that on here. And this piece is gray granite to kind of match our hippo. All right, let's do our stamping. So we're going to use the You're So Hip sentiment from the Hippest Hippo stamp set. Now, this one would be a little bit hard to duplicate with your own stamps, but you could use any image, really, and any sentiment, and just put them in the place of here. It does not have to be a hippo. It does not have to be an animal. use your imagination. Oop, we got a shadow. Okay, that is why there are two sides to the piece of paper, right? I will not push so hard this time. Perfect. Okay, and then when we have our ink out, I am going to stamp my hippo. You can see I was testing yesterday. This was with the light petal pink and this was dark petal pink. I don't know how well the difference shows up on the video, but I liked the light better, so that's what I went with. So we'll stamp him in Memento black ink too. And that is the ink that you want to use if you're coloring with our Stampin' Blends markers, so that the colors don't bleed together. So I'm going to color him with gray granite to match the paper, and then we'll use the light petal pink, and then I used some of the colors from the designer series paper. So I used my dark parakeet party for the little leaf, and then we're using dark calypso coral for the flower. And then we'll go in with our light petal pink. And just color this in. I did not really do any shading this time. That is kind of fun to do with our Stampin' Blends markers, but they are great for just straight coloring too. They cover really well and you don't get those marker lines that you get with lots of other markers. I'm going to switch to my pen tip so I don't go outside the lines. And then I used my dark gray granite just for the little, what are they called on a hippo? Fingernails? Toenails? I don't know, maybe they have a different name on a hippo. And then I used the light gray granite to fill in the rest. And you could do shading if you wanted to, but I just thought I'd make it easy and I just do some straight coloring this time. I am all about the quick and easy these days because my to-do list is a mile long. Can anyone relate to that? I'm sure you can. Seems like everybody I talk to is busy. It was the first week of school here, so we were extra busy. At least it felt that way. I know it's only going to get busier when all of the school activities start, but still gotta make some time for crafting. That's what helps keep me sane, I think. Okay, I think I got in her eye a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, so now we're going to pull out the hippo dies and cut her out. So this is really fun. The hippo dies you get for free with a $50 purchase, and same with the stamp set. So if you spend $100, you get both for free. And these dies are a lot of fun. They cut out the images in the stamp set, but then you get a whole lot of other pieces to play with, which is just a lot of fun. And I love them. All right, I'm going to pull in my die cutting machine. And we'll stick her in. I probably need to trim her up a bit. I brought in my mini machine, and this piece won't fit in here. So we'll just cut her out a little bit. And stick her in. Line that up. When you line up your dies, you want to kind of line up the edge of the die with the edge of the image. And it will leave like a white edge around, but you don't see that part when you are putting it in your die cut machine. Okay. Move that to the side. Take her out. Okay, let me put that die away before I lose it. Okay, so now we've just got to finish attaching everything. So I'm going to attach her with dimensionals too. And if you did not want this card to be quite so thick, you could lay the hippo down flat, or you could lay this decorative circle down flat, and you could make a flatter card. It does not have to be popped up quite so much. So I just put her in the middle. Although this part, it is easier to tuck this under if she's up on dimensional. So you might want to lay the circle flat if you're doing anything flat. I'm going to cut a banner in one end, like this. Oops. And then this, I think I just put a little adhesive on the side that we're tucking under, like that. And then the sequins that I used, I'm going to forget what they're called. I don't remember the name, but this is so much fun. When I ordered these, I didn't know exactly what it was, but you get 3 big containers like this. And I used this one on another one. And then there is a container that's kind of a pinkish color, and you get all 3 of them. I think they're $15, but it is a ton of sequins. So that is a lot of fun. All right. I keep telling you how I feel about the glue. I did actually use glue on my sequins on the other card, but I forgot to bring my glue in here. So these sequins are large enough that a glue dot will work. And to tell you the truth, I use glue more often now than I used to, but I don't really like it because it gets all over my fingers. And so this is how I used to put on sequins all the time. Even if they were like tiny little ones, I even attempted to cut my glue dots into smaller pieces. That's how much I didn't like the glue. So that's kind of a funny story, but these are the right size. Isn't that cute? I love the hippo. I am going to be sad when the hippo is all gone, but look at that. So cute, right? Which one do you like better? Do you like the little daisies or do you like these flowers? Comment and let me know. I don't know which one I like better. Maybe this one, actually. We'll see. Okay, that's the second card. Let's move on to our third card. So this one uses our Wonderful World bundle, which is a designer series paper and stamp set that you can get for free with a $100 purchase. Hi, Lynette. Thanks for watching and thanks for commenting. I know it's hard to choose. I like them both too. This card I copied from Mary Fish. She's one of the top demonstrators, and she is known for doing really pretty and simple cards. And I saw this one a while back from her. I used a different sentiment and changed it just a little, but copied her layout and her card for the most part. And it's just so pretty. And I'm going to show you how to color the stamps in this stamp set with our Stampin' Right markers. Sometimes when you color the stamps with markers, the image turns out okay, but not spectacular. But every time I have colored these stamps, they just look so pretty when you stamp with them. So I don't know what the difference is in these stamps, but they're just gorgeous. So this time we have a Sahara sand card base. And we have a 4x4 piece of the designer series paper. And I'm using a different pattern today. If you order and get a card kit from me, you might get this pattern instead or a different one because there's only so much paper in that package and I have to kind of use different patterns. But I think this one's really pretty too. This paper is just gorgeous. Ooh, and this one would look nice too, wouldn't it? I don't know. It's hard to choose which side of the paper to use. I think that's a paper crafter's problem a lot of the time. The paper is so pretty, you don't want to use it. But that's why you bought it, right? To use it. Okay. Then I have a piece of rich razzleberry. And this one, we die cut the edge with the penned flower dies. They coordinate with a stamp set too, but my favorite die in the set is this scalloped edge. It's so pretty. And we have a piece of white that we're going to stamp on. So let me show you the stamp set real quick. This is a stamp set that you get with you get a 12x12 pack of designer series paper too. But there are these 3 flower images and they are all great for coloring with our markers. So if you are choosing this as your celebration reward, I would recommend getting some of our Stampin' Right markers. So those are not the same as the ones I used to color the hippo. Those are Stampin' Blends, and for this one we're going to use Stampin' Right markers. Okay, so they look different. These are the alcohol markers. These are just regular markers. And you do not want to color your stamps with the Stampin' Blends, but you can color your stamps with the regular markers. And that's what we're going to do today. So, I have my stamp, and I'm going to use Rich Razzleberry and Pear Pizzazz. And just like the Stampin' Blends markers, they have a brush end and a tip end. And I'm going to use the brush end to just color the flowers. And these are pretty easy to color. There's not like little nooks and crannies. It's just once you get close to the stems that you want to be a little bit more careful so you don't color your stem purple. But for the most part, it's pretty easy and you can go pretty quickly. So I was a little careful in this part. If you go over a little bit, it's not really a big deal. If you like to pay attention to detail, you might want to slow down at that part. And then we'll use our Pear Pizzazz for the stems and leaves. Now this is a little bit harder to do on our photopolymer stamps. You can do it, but it works really well on the red rubber cling stamps. And if you really wanted to make sure you get good coverage, you could use the Stamparatus, and then you could ink them up again if you wanted it to be better coverage in a certain spot. Okay, now before you stamp this, you just want to give it a little huff of your breath to make sure the ink is still wet, and then you can stamp it. All right, let's see what happens. Magic happens, that's what. Isn't that pretty? Like I said, these stamps work so well with the ink to stamp technique. So pretty. Okay, so we are going to attach that to our Rich Razzleberry piece. And then, let's see. I'm going to tie my gold cord around before I attach it. So this gold cord comes in a pack with silver cord also. It's called Simply Elegant Trim. And I'm just going to wrap that around and tie a bow. Oh, I'm glad I could help Lynette. I thought it would be fun to show a different technique. I usually try and stay pretty simple in my card class, but it is fun to show something easy. And this is not a hard technique. It's pretty easy. I remember when I was first starting out, I think I did the entire marker set was one of the first things I got, maybe even before I got all the ink pad colors. So it was a way to use more colors with the markers. And the other thing I really liked at first was our blender pens. I'll have to show those sometime too. But those you can use with any ink pad and color with also. All right, let's put this down. Now the only thing about this stamp set is that it doesn't come with any sentiments. So I'm sure we all have plenty of sentiment stamp sets. You don't really need to worry about that. But if you are looking for a good one, this is one that I would maybe recommend. It's called Peaceful Moments. It's been around for at least a few years, but it has lots of good sentiments, lots of good basic ones. So I'm using the thank you from that set today. And let me find my little piece for the sentiment. And we'll use our Rich Razzleberry ink again. And stamp that thank you. Okay, and then this one I did just lay down flat, and I just put the adhesive on this side because it'll hang over the edge just a little bit. Like that. And then I am using the same sequin pack that those green sequins were from. And I think the green sequins actually have some of these sparkly white ones in here too. I don't know if they have different tones and that's why or they just put some of the same exact sequins in every container. I'm not sure, but I thought those worked well. And then I could show you 2 colors of the sequins. Plus there is a ton in here, so I will have plenty to go around. Whoops, at my card class. You go through embellishments kind of quick when everybody puts 3 on each card. And some of the other ones, I did not have enough for that. So there we go. Oop, I smudged it a little. I always tell people if they do something like that, that is how you know it's a handmade card. So, plus we'll just put that, you know, it'll fly right up there and cover that up. All right. You've got 2 choices again, the pink or the white background. I don't know. I'm going to go with white this time because I don't like my little smudge, but the pink looks nice too. And next time I might have to turn it around to that rich raspberry side. Oh, the difference between the markers. Okay. So, thank you for asking because there is a difference. Obviously you can see the Stampin' Blends are fatter and shorter. These are alcohol markers, and these I believe are water-based. Yes, these are water-based. So that's why they'll come right off the stamp when you color it. I did have somebody at my class last month try and color the hippo on the stamp with the Stampin' Blends, and we rinsed it off pretty quick, but they can stain the stamps, and they don't really give that good of coverage when you color with the Stampin' Blends on a stamp, so I wouldn't do that anyways. These are more for coloring in images, like if it's line art, like the hippo, where it's something that you need to color in. And then the Stampin' Write markers are more for like this technique, or if you are, some people like to doodle like edges around their cards. These are more like regular markers, so they will leave the lines that you typically get if you color a large area with the markers. The alcohol ones will blend together, and they come in packs of 2, so you get a dark and a light together. Like how on the hippo I colored the dark on his nails and then light on the rest. And you can blend the colors together. The regular markers obviously don't do that. So those are kind of the main differences. Hopefully that helps some. If you have another question, just comment and let me know, and I'll see if I can answer it for you. Okay, so that is that card, and I have one left to show you. This one is going to use our silver and gold specialty paper that is 6x6 and is free with a $50 order during celebration. There is a lined pattern and a polka dot pattern in both silver and gold. And then I paired it with our Splendid Day Suite, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites. If you like this card, I used this suite on my card club this month, and there's just a few days left to sign up. I meant to bring those cards in here to show you too, but of course I forgot. So you can scroll down and see the graphic. I think I posted a reminder yesterday. So this one, we have a soft seafoam base. This is such an interesting color. When we came out with this color, I wasn't sure about it. It's just such a different shade of green and so light, but it's really pretty, and it's grown on me since we've had it. Okay, like the other card, if you order and get the card kit, you might get the polka dot or you might get silver. I think silver or gold would go with this. And you might get a different pattern of designer series paper too, because I didn't have time to order more and I'm running out of the purple, but they both look very pretty. So we're going to put this one kind of at an angle. This foil paper is great for Christmas cards, I think. And look at this paper. This is the Splendid Day specialty paper, and it has different colors of foil, and it is really, really gorgeous. I thought that would maybe be too much foil with the foil in the other paper, but it is very pretty. Okay, and then we are going to add in a couple of die cuts. This is another bundle that has a stamp set and dies. And I don't think I put the stamp set in here, just the one stamp. So you can look it up. It's called Splendid Thoughts, but it has a nice die set with different leaf images, and I guess some of the plants in this stamp set are eucalyptus. I only know that because I heard somebody else say it, not because I know my plants that well. But, so we have this, and these are die cuts from the die set, and I'm going to add those with glue dots again. If you have some of our adhesive sheets, and you're doing die cutting of these really intricate pieces, the adhesive sheets are great for that. I forgot to put one on the back of my cardstock before I started, but then you can lay it down like a sticker, and it's awesome. This adds a little bit of texture and dimension to your card though, so that's nice too. Okay, and then in this suite we also have our soft seafoam ribbon. It's kind of sheer and really soft, and I am just going to fold that piece in half, and I just put a line of my Stampin' Seal down there to kind of hold it in place, and then I'll put my sentiment over the top. So this piece is a fun piece in the die set. You can turn it this way and some of the sentiments fit in it like that. You can turn it this way and it turns into a pot for the plants in the stamp set. But the sentiments fit in there, a couple of them do, so that's really nice. And it's a fun shape. If you look in the catalog where this suite is featured, they have a fun card where they just cut a bunch of these out of the designer series paper, which I thought was a really fun use of it, and they put two pieces together to make a circle, and it was a really pretty card. So this is a sentiment in the Splendid Thoughts stamp set, and I stamped it in fresh Freesia ink, which is in the designer series paper on this card, not in this one, but it still goes, and it will add another color. And we're going to put this over the top of the ribbon with some dimensionals, and normally I'd probably only add 2 to a piece this size, but since we're going over the ribbon and I want to make sure it's stuck down really well, I put 3. So like that. And then our embellishment on this one is our iridescent rhinestones. These are so pretty, and they kind of take on the colors of whatever you're working with, because they're so shimmery and shiny. One of my favorite embellishments that we have in our catalog right now. So I just added a few of those. You might have noticed that I keep my embellishments in our clear stamp cases. I think this works really well so they don't, come off of their sheets, and you don't have to worry about putting them back in those little sleeves, plastic sleeves that they come in. You can actually buy our clear stamp cases. They come in a pack of 6 or 8, I'm not remembering. But if you search for them in the online store, you can purchase them. And that's how I keep most of my embellishments anyways. I run out of cases. I need to go through and take out my retired embellishments. So there's that one. Now let me pull back in all the cards so you can see them again. We'll just do one of each. And then remember, if you place an order of at least $40 before tax and shipping using the host code up here, then I will send you the card kit to make these 4 cards, and you can use whatever stamps and ink you have on hand at home, but you'll get all the paper pieces cut, embossed, and everything, and you will get the embellishments and the ribbons and stuff. So plus a tutorial so that you know how to put them together. And you can shop now between now and Monday if you want the card kit. And I will post a link to shop and everything in the description after I'm done here. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these cards, and I hope you are having a great week. Happy stamping!